God's forgiveness. I'm making this without a plan. Point number one. Because sometimes you just gotta wing it. And also, I'm really feeling it. This morning I was spending time with him and I realized how overwhelming the presence of his love is in my life. And the bridge to which I attained that love was his forgiveness. It made way for all grace. And if I'm not giving that same forgiveness to people, I'm not worthy of his forgiveness, and I'm just a hypocrite at that point. Here's what I'm hoping this video does. I'm hoping it renews your mind in so gives the world more forgiveness, because you'll start forgiving more. I'll start forgiving more after this. You know where I think this idea comes from for this video, specifically, this topic? I was talking, it might have been yesterday or the night before, with somebody, a friend, and I said something along the lines of, the closer I get to him, the more grace I give to others. Because we got to a really niche topic like how we filter judgments, how we are filtering our perception through judgments all the time. You look at a person and the way they said that, or the fluctuation in their voice there, or, you know, what they said during that topic, what their opinion is on that. You think you could always do it better. You think you could always be more charismatic than them. You think it's always you that's missing in places you want to be, in situations you want to be placed in. But none of us have it together. That's the beginning stage. And if we allow the grace of God to govern our lives, we'll very quickly become smaller and he'll very quickly become bigger. Scratch that, not so much quickly. I mean, depending on where you're starting from, sure, but it takes years to really start to get, I think, to somewhere special in this walk in life. When you really become like the one you're following. And it takes a lot of stripping away. By the way, this has no plan. I don't know what I'm gonna say next, so don't expect some kind of I don't know, maybe we'll get to an end message. Who knows? I just want to make this because I think that there's more to life. There's more forgiveness to be had. There's better ways that we can treat the people around us, and there's better ways that I can treat myself. So maybe if I treat myself better, you'll treat yourself better. Maybe that's it. Maybe we should start being the change we wish to see. Right? Gandhi quote, drop. There's more to the Bible than some words. There's more to you than your words. There's more to life than experience. There's more to a movie than a scene. There's more to a picture than the frame. What I'm trying to say is that you're never going to learn it all. You're never going to be perfect. So why do you expect others to do the things that you're doing? I mean, I think first, once we get a good scope on where it is we stand, what our place is, and how good we actually are, we'll start to raise other people's standards for themselves, right? So no people pleasing, and we'll also be able to encourage them. Because man, when you have a real perception of where you stand in comparison to the Almighty God, you can't help but give yourself grace. Because if you don't, and you begin to know these things, you're not going to make it through those hard times. Because I'm telling you, it's so easy for me to say it, but you can only grasp it once you realize it, once you experience it, that's how you realize it, we become smaller. We become worse. And it's not we becoming that, actually. We see it. When I started seeking God first, I knew I needed his forgiveness and I needed his love, and I heard terms like grace, but as I've sought him, and I've let people go, things go, mindsets, habits, cycles, patterns in my life, and future plans and dreams, hopes even, I've noticed that he's more. He's always been more. He's massive. He's perfect. And I'm not. I am so not. But here's the good thing. Here's the thing that we all Christians can relate to one another and also count on as a firm foundation. It's his love. It's his grace. It's the bridge between man and God. What he did for us. Jesus, the chosen one, came and listen, you probably know the gospel. You might not, but I just think there's more. He came, he lived a perfect life, the life that we have already failed to live, and then he died the life that a person who's lived far, far worse than even you and I deserved. He died that way. And then he set everybody free because he rose again, right? He defeated the thing that was captivating us, that was holding us in torment. And he's king now. He reigns. When you have a conversation about somebody you're close with and you get to like a really deep moment and you realize there's so much more to this thing that you're talking about than you first realized. And you could even have those moments where you look back at old you speaking about the same thing and you'll hear yourself speak and you'll be like, yo, he's spitting facts and he doesn't even know it. Or she's spitting facts and she doesn't even know it. That's what it means to be a child of God. It's complete introspection all the time. You're always looking at the log in your own eye. And that's what seeking God is like. When you focus on only him, everything else works. He's in control of literally all of it. There is not one thing that he's not in control of. So once you give your life to him, it's not going to end. That's like why we forgive people. We can't just look at them as they are right now. You have to look at the opportunity in them. We've all been given the biggest gift, the most major gift in like all of existence. That's the only thing I'd wish to have if I had one single gift. I mean, with God and with us living in the world. Potential. Without potential, I'm dead. Without potential, I'm stagnant. Without potential, what is the point? I get to have potential. And I think a part of God's plan that's unfolding is simply revealing to us our potential. We're so often giving excuses as to why we can't do this, or this, or why the other person that I'm judging right now, that I'm thinking about right now, that I can't help but like get the ick from right now. We call them who they are in that moment instead of calling them to be something that Christ died for. It's always going to be bigger than us. The time is always going to take us through it. The plan is always going to include us, but not encompass us. Like, it's not for us. I mean, it is, but it's not going to only benefit us. You can't live a life with just yourself in mind. You'll be very lonely and selfish. It's not a life worth living. And you gotta ask the questions that are bigger than yourself. We know this. Because if you don't, again, potential. That's you and me. If we don't move forward in this thing, we're not going anywhere. And if we're not going anywhere, I mean, what was the point of even dropping in? Like, why are we even here? It's like, it makes me think of people who made it to the top and they're saying, I wish I was just more present, or I enjoyed the journey more, because that was where the friction was at. That was where the growth was at. It's through the valley that you gain your strength. It's through the valley that I was prepared. It's through the valley that God became my foundation, my song, my strength, my salvation. And without his forgiveness, I wouldn't be able to make it through the valley, because I didn't pass through it perfectly. As I'm sure you didn't. Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Anyway, that's what I came here to say. I really like this message because it's kind of different to what I'm used to hearing, and also I needed it, because he's perfect and I'm not. I'm really not. Peace and glory to the Most High.